Well, we're back. This time we're not talking about controversial design topics that aren't controversial. Instead, we're no damaging Yakuza Kiwami. This game really has a very special place in my heart. It was my first Yakuza game, and it's also my favorite. Really, really like this game. I think it has better combat than Lost Judgment, but that's probably a super hot take, I don't know. But, enough exposition, let's go ahead and talk about rules and disclaimers. Rules are very simple. This playthrough is done on hard difficulty. We will not be using any weapon attacks, and we will not be using charged heat actions. Charged heat actions, basically in this game you can do charged attacks, and that charged damage can get carried over with heat actions, making heat actions do way more damage than they should be doing. We will not be using this at all. And we also will not be using tiger drops, or we will not be spamming them, I should say more specifically. That being said, some of these rules have an exception. We will get there when we get there. Disclaimers, very simple. No Amon, Jomon is not fun to fight in this game. It's just Kiryu and Majima's movesets, and it's really boring. Also, he's just not a story boss. Speaking of which, we're only doing story bosses, so no sub-stories or anything of that nature. Only story bosses. And long battles, of course. Lastly, some of these long battles aren't done in one take. Most of them are done in one take. If they aren't, I will let you know, but most of them are done in one take. Other than that, that's all I have to really say. I thank you all for clicking onto this video, and we will get into the fights. So I'm just going to mention this right now. Kiwami has a lot of bosses, in quotes, that are not really bosses, such as Hirata here. This fight's just, use Dragon. You're not allowed to switch styles, so you kind of have to use Dragon. It's not much to say other than, don't get hit, as silly as that sounds. But that's really all I could say. You can use Bounding Throws. Bounding Throws are very helpful, because in this game, Bounding Throws, you are immune to any sort of damage, which is really nice. Now we have this guy. Some refer to him as the Hey F you guy. But also very simple. I literally just rush combo him. Yeah, a lot of these early bosses are not very hard. I'm also doing this on New Game Plus, not on New Game. Because, I don't know, the thing about doing, like, New Game, sort of, like, what's it called? Like, no damages, it's like, what is the... You're just gonna do the entire thing with, like, no stats or anything? It's weird to gauge where it should be. Oh, yeah, this guy's also pretty simple. We have Hirata 2 here. I mean, these fights are pretty easy, so I don't really know what to say other than don't get hit, realistically. This one I do a heat action to get Hirata out of the fight, and that guy really low. Yeah. I think the next one might be a... Oh, okay, prisoner. So this guy actually does have some sort of a threat. He is a threat, sort of. Here we're just going to go ahead and take away these thugs, which are pretty easy. You want to try to get to heat mode before you have to fight the main guy. If that doesn't happen, it is what it is. Now, this guy can be kind of tricky because he throws his forks out as knives. It's like throwing knives. And I don't know, me personally, it's really hard to react to them. So I kind of... bro, it's so obnoxious to try to react to that. What I do specifically is just kind of dodge before I think he's gonna do it, and that's really it. But other than that, he's not that bad. Now we're doing this first Majima fight. This is technically a fight you're supposed to lose, but if I have the upgrades, I might as well take him out, right? This fight is pretty easy, just back combo him mostly. The rush parry comes in very handy with Majima fights, especially Mad Dog Majima. Mad Dog and Brawler Majima, really, because it's just very easy to back combo him. And this is I'm doing it I'm chill. Like, you can do so much more with the back combos. You can do Godspeed, you can do Dragon Infinites on him. It's very absurd what you can do to Majima, but it's just some stuff that I'm not doing. Mostly because this is playing Kiwami after not playing it for a few months. That's usually how these no damages go. I do them a few months after playing the game last. So I'm kind of like reintegrating into the combat, which is something you'll notice when later into this video, like more better with the combat, because I've been spending more time with the game, obviously. But yeah, Majima also really not that bad. Just know your rush parry timings. That's really all you need. Do your back combos, everything like that. Something I didn't mention, by the way, is I won't be using Tiger Drop. Like, I should have mentioned that in the rules, but whatever. We're not going to be using Tiger Drop that much. Very little. Here we have Sleep Thug Abe, or Abe, or whatever. Also pretty simple. Yeah, these early bosses are really nothing. I just grab him, then do a heat action. No, I grab him, then I grab him again in Beast. Okay, I remember now. Yeah, a lot of these fights are not that difficult, I will say. Now we have Yuya here. Yuya can be scary. He has, I believe, a grab heat action he can do on you, so you don't want to get grabbed by Yuya. We do a Komaki parry here, and then we just go ahead and back combo him. We do so much damage, we get him into the heat action, just hit the QTE. Now he should be going into a regenerative state. And upon replaying, it's very surprising how little of the bosses actually regenerate their health. Like in this instance, yeah, Yuya doesn't, right? He doesn't. Here you have the Shimano family. Here I do the Saejima heat action from Yakuza 5 that lets you take on 4 guys at once, which is very useful, and you're going to be seeing it a lot in this video because for some reason Yakuza Kiwami just has a lot of group boss fights. I don't know why. It's actually very annoying and not very fun, but it is what it is. It kind of sucks given how good the combat is in this game that they have a lot of very annoying fights, but I'm not going to complain that much. Really, Yuya and Kazuki here really make this fight a lot simpler because they are very, very good companions to have here. They take aggro, they fight, they actually do things. There's going to be another companion you have later in this game that is not as useful, I'm going to be honest, but it is what it is. So yeah, there goes the Shimano family. Here we have the Omi Alliance guy from the funeral. This guy is also not bad. You just wait until you can get behind him, and honestly, a lot of what I can say is just back combo. It's really just that simple. Back combo until you win. That's really a Kiwami sort of flavor of combat. And now we have the Tojo clan in the funeral long battle. Now technically this isn't part of the long battle, it's right before it, but I thought I'd include it because I think it is technically part of the long battle. I just destroy him with furniture. Yeah, that's really all I can say, that's all I did. Go ahead and skip this. Look at Shimano looking at you. So now this part, I forget what I do. I forget if I use Brawler or Dragon. Both work. I think I use Dragon though, because sometimes enemies like to be a little more aggressive than you might expect, so the bounding throws are really helpful here. Especially that guy that I just took out, Yamazaki. He is extraordinarily aggressive for some reason. But after that, these guys are really not that bad. They will block here and there, but that's just, you know, that's just gonna happen in these games, right? Something I do notice in this game, or that when I was doing this no damage, I am blocking much more, which I'm really happy about, because I don't really block that much in Yakuza games. It's just not it's just a habit I have not to block. These knife guys, you kind of want to take them out as soon as you can, because you're dealing with a bunch of people that want to punch you, so then getting ranged people also is very annoying. So yeah, you want to deal with these ranged guys. Here, you have a few like knife guys and a katana guy. Here, I just take care of the this knife guy because I swear, man, these like, I should say dagger, right? These dagger guys can be very unexpected sometimes. Now I go and I try to take care of the knife guys here, these throwing knife guys. I always think I can do a little more damage than I can, and as a result, that guy has just a sliver of health left. This guy just do a throw on. I don't know how I didn't get hit there, but we take those. Let's go ahead and, I think, yeah, I tried to take out the knife guy there, but obviously it's not happening. Here, I thought I could go up from here because it's just a super short spot, but that's just on me. It's not that big of a deal. Now we take care of this throwing knife guy. If I were to redo this, I would actually take out one of the katana guys first, because the katana is unbelievable in this game. In Dragon, it's amazing. I kind of misgauged my distance there. I was trying to do the triangle attack on that group, but it is what it is. Really, now you're just kind of have to do crowd control, if I had to be honest. There's not much else to do. And I take out the fist guys first, which is really, I don't know, that's just what I wanted to do. Here I do the beast heat action. Yeah, we do this one, and that is the rest of these guys out of the way. Like I said, if I were to redo this, I would take out a katana guy first, because the katanas are busted in this game. They're really good, and you're going to see that in a future fight. You'll see what I mean by the katanas are really, really good. Now we're dealing with this guy. He's not that big of a deal, to be honest. You just deal with him. I don't really know what to say. His moveset isn't super aggressive. He's actually very passive, and he's very short. Not short, slow is what I was trying to say. He's very slow. Like, yeah, then you can just start hitting his back, and you'll be fine. Like, you can react to his hits so easily. He's blocking, so we just go ahead and do this heat action. Just get him out of the way. And that's technically the first part of this long battle done. But I was an idiot and I didn't have app stim, so this is all one take. This entire long battle is one take. Now we're dealing with these corridor guys. That knife guy, like the throwing knife guy all the way in the back, is actually not that aggressive, so you can kind of just deal with those two guys first, which is really nice. Here we have 4 guys here, and my thinking was to do the beast heat action. I don't know if I don't pull it off because I mistimed the button press. It's what it is. There's also a throwing knife guy behind me, and I got really lucky he didn't hit me once, man. Now we go ahead and take care of the throwing knife guy. Go over here, and we gotta deal with 3 guys that spawn in behind us. These guys also not bad. You just kind of... I use Brawler here. Or no, I lied. I use Beast here. I do a heat action on this guy to take him out. Very Yakuza 1-esque heat action. I could see it being from Yakuza 1, actually. But yes, right now, these guys don't have that much health, so it's pretty easy to take care of them. Not that that'll be the case for the entire game. It will definitely get more difficult. I go this way at first because, like I said, I haven't played this game in a very long time. We go up these stairs, and there's really nothing here until you get to the main lobby, where there will be a group of enemies. Okay, I just completely lied to you. There's a guy right here. We go ahead and do this heat action again just because we're in a new section, so we can do it. Otherwise, like, I wouldn't have done it, but we're fine. We're kind of chilling here. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I look at the camera like, alright. And then... yeah. That happens. It's okay. I don't know, man. The way, like, the aiming works in the Yakuza games can be so wonky sometimes. The fact that knife didn't hit me is... I'm very happy it didn't, to say the least. So yeah, we just take care of that knife guy. And the rest of these guys are actually pretty passive. So you can kind of just swing at them and not worry. Then, after this section, we have Majima to deal with. Just have to run to the door and we'll see Majima. This is Brawler Majima I have to deal with, so it's not that tricky. Honestly, none of the Majimas are necessarily tricky unless it's Slugger Majima. Slugger Majima, terrifying. Worst Majima to fight, and I will explain that when we get there. Here I just go ahead and do the sumo slap heat action, or that's what I want to do, I should say. Haven't done it yet. So I wish to go ahead and do the sumo slap heat action and kind of just take out a lot of his health. Because at this point, like, I went through this entire one take. I'm not losing it to freaking Thug Style Majima, bruh. That's just not something I want to do. Here's the dialogue. You can't skip it, so we just have to watch it through. I'm very happy that the Dragon Engine games or the future games didn't have stuff like this because it is very obnoxious. Now we get to this spot. The last people you have to fight in this long battle. So we're just gonna... Like I said, none of these guys are super aggressive. Like, the only aggressive guy was Yamazaki at the very beginning of this long battle. The rest of these guys are really not that bad. So yeah, we go ahead and take all these guys out, and that is this entire long battle done in one take. Now we have Shimano. I will say, I'm gonna be honest here, Shimano I did not do on the same take as the long battle. And there's actually a very good reason for this. So as people will know, Shimano has the same moveset as Mr. Shakedown in Yakuza 0. But there's something about the way Shimano works, the way he behaves, that is so different from how Shakedown behaves. I don't know how to explain it. But, like, if you're thinking, oh, it's just Mr. Shakedown, no. The behavior is so different from how Mr. Shakedown is versus Shimano that it trips me up. It tripped me up quite a few times as a result. That's not to say this is a hard fight. Shakedown's moveset is very easy to, you know, block and predict and everything once you get used to it. But if you are so used to playing fighting Shakedown, this might be a little difficult. to get used to, and it was for me. Nah, okay, it wasn't super difficult, but it did take me like what, 1 or 2 like attempts because of his behavior. Now we have the guys that try to beat up a little dog. These guys aren't bad at all. Go ahead and just use Brawler here to take out a few guys. I think I take out 2 or 3 or something. Okay, 3. Then with all this heats, wow, okay, I take out a bunch of guys actually, I lied. Gotta go ahead and switch to Beast and do the ring. I'm just call it the merry-go-round heat action. We do this heat action. I guess the spin heat action, I'll call it. That heat action is just... I'm really happy what they did with Beast in this game. I'm happy that Beast is still really good at crowd control, even though it's not super good with weapons anymore, in the sense that they don't do as much damage, but the heat actions are still phenomenal. Such as that one, the spin heat action and the Saijima heat action. They're just really good. Yeah, I mean, this fight's pretty simple. Really, a lot of these fights, you can just use Brawler's square, 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 triangle. Now we have Hayashi. So, Hayashi has the moveset from Baba from Yakuza 5. And the thing about Hayashi specifically is kind of similar to Mr. Shakedown. Yes, it's the same moveset as Baba, but Hayashi feels so much more aggressive. It's the same type of idea that, yes, it is the same moveset, but he's so much more aggressive, I feel, than Baba ever was in Yakuza 5. So you really have to be careful here. But we're kind of chilling, we're kind of doing alright. He goes ahead and goes for a recharge, so it's good timing for us to go ahead and get as much damage in as possible. Mostly because he doesn't regenerate health. But yeah, really, you just have to be careful for that like little like jab attack he does. That's the only one where he goes super forward. Now we have the Coliseum Fights. Feldman is weird because he'll do these kicks that never break your guard. Then he grabs you. So you could just counter his grab, excuse me. And this is quite literally how I got this fight done every time, because he just doesn't... He's so passive. It just... There's not much else you can really do. So if you're in Brawler, you can just counter his grab, and that's exactly what I do every single time. Now you have this guy, what is his name? I forgot. Pramuk or whatever. Now him, he's really not that bad, but he's just kind of annoying, so I just go for the sumo slaps. Now theoretically I could end the fight here, but instead I actually go ahead and taunt, and the reason I taunt is so I could get heat back for the next fight. That next fight being Gary. Once again, very simple fight. Nothing too bad, especially if you use sumo slaps there. There's really not much you can do. Gary! Now Gary is a problem, and I will explain why. Gary is a problem, not because he has Aizawa's moveset. Gary's a problem because he has a grab. And it's like a Dragon Engine grab, where if you get grabbed, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do. Because once he grabs you, he does a heat action. You can't react to it. It's over for you. So what I recommend is doing what I did, where you do the heat action, or you do the rush combo into the punch, and then you just wait for him to regen and do as much damage as possible. Or you do a heat action instead of the grab. So now we have these Purgatory Residents. They're really not that bad. I should be using the katana in Dragon, but it's just not something I was thinking of at the time. But really, if you are struggling with any heat actions and the guys have katanas like these, pick them up and use them in Dragon, because those katanas are really good. But yeah, none of these guys are super aggressive, and as a result, it's kind of easy to take care of them. Yeah, see, I'm using it in Brawler. In Brawler, it's not good. Do not use katanas in Brawler. Use them in Dragon once you get the Komaki skill to do so. Alright, Majima 2. Now, I will say this fight is a little framey. It does, like, get a little sketchy. I don't know why this fight in particular is like this. No other fight is super framey like this. So I'm really sorry about that. So here I kind of make distance from Majima, because Majima is pretty erratic. And here we go ahead and do the Saijima heat action. Very nice. And I believe after this, there's only one guy left that we have to take care of before Majima's by himself. Or maybe there's two. There's two. Yeah, okay. Really just take care of these guys first. And you see, this guy's is like hugging Majima. So, just as you would imagine, do not go for any of the guys near Majima. So you kind of have to bait him out. Or bait Majima out, really. So now we just have to deal with Majima. And it is Mad Dog Majima, so it's much easier to deal with than most versions of Majima because his moves are just that telegraphed. So he's going to go ahead and regenerate. And the reason his aura is yellow here is because he is going to switch to Slugger style. Slugger Majima is a problem, and I will explain why. The reason Slugger Majima is a problem is because he hyper armors everything. I'm not joking. He'll just swing his bat, normal rush combo, he will hyper armor it. Word to the wise, if you are versing Slugger Majima and you have to deal with him, Tiger Drop or use heat actions. It is not worth trying to fight him legit. You cannot back combo him efficiently, you can't combo him efficiently, it's not worth it. Takashi here is a very simple one though. Because his bat moveset makes him very slow, you can just dodge behind him and then just back combo him. And Dragon is just really good at that. And I should mention that this and the B-King are in one take, so this is not my best fight against Takashi, but it is in one take with the B-King. But yeah, Takashi's really not that bad. You just kind of have to bully him a little bit in Dragon and you'll be fine. Now we have Shinada. That's right. B-King has Shinada's moveset, which is something I didn't notice at first, but it's kind of neat to see. That being said, it is a very trippy fighting style to go up against because sometimes he feels very passive while other times he feels very hostile, which can definitely mess up your flow if you're not expecting it. Not to mention he does the power slide that Shinada has, and that slide, that like right there, is crazy if you're not expecting it. It can be very much a big deal. Now we're left with just Chiba and the leader, that being the B-King. We go ahead and do a heat action on the B-King here. And this forces him to go into regeneration state, which is good for us because then we could just go ahead and do a rush combo on him and take him out. Very simple stuff. Go ahead and use the heat action here, but it's kind of overkill on him, but it's alright. Realistically, I could have just done another rush combo, but the heat actions are cool, man. And then this guy's just, yeah, just take him out. Very simple stuff. Next, we have to deal with this guy, the Atobe family members. So here I would say you want to start off with some sort of beast heat action. You don't have to start off with the grab, you can start off with, or you don't have to start off with this heat action, you can start off with the grab. I like starting off with this heat action because you do a lot of damage to him. And aside the main guy with the knife, you want to get him into healing as quickly as possible. The reason being, he is very aggressive and his knife is very annoying to deal with. So I would recommend that you get him out of the game as quickly as possible to make it easier on you. Everyone else, these lackeys are really not that bad, so it's just a matter of dealing with them as soon as you can. But I would really stress the importance of getting rid of Asai, that guy that is using the knife, because he is very aggressive in comparison. Now we have the adult film punks. I'm not going to say the other term for it just because I don't want to. These guys, it's pretty much just a glorified group fight. Let's go ahead and do the Saejima heat action. I like calling it the Saejima heat action. I actually don't know the proper name for it. Maybe something like Bull Rush? I don't know. Really, this is not a bad fight. You just gotta take care of everyone. Now, the knife guy, Tokuda here, can be a little tricky just because like those movesets are just really weird in this game. I don't know, something about the knife or slash switchblade slash dagger moveset can be a little tricky to me. I don't know. That's just me. That's how I've always felt about this in these games. So let's go ahead and finish him off with the heat action. He's like I said, Tokuda, excuse me, the guy with the dagger, is really the only guy you have to worry about. Everyone else is pretty chill. And now we have our boy Date helping us get rid of this guy. Very nice. Now we have Shota, who has Kanai's moveset, if I'm not mistaken. So Shota can be a very big deal, but he is on Date, which is very good. If he's on Date, that means you could deal with everyone else here, and that is very good for us. Because Shota will usually try to focus you, and that could be a giant pain. Now we go ahead and focus on Shota, and you can just back combo Shota into Oblivion, kind of like Majima, and you're kind of chilling. Something I will say is Shota, the name is obviously not a very good name given Japanese culture, and it makes me wonder if people actually would name their child something like that. But I digress. Now is the first MIA fight. Okay, so the MIA guys are very, very annoying. I'm just gonna be honest, I hate fighting the MIA guys, and I'm very glad not a similar entity returned at this much absurdity, because having to deal with the guns can be very, very annoying. And it's something I would recommend for this fight. You deal with the guys with the guns. Obviously not the mysterious man with the giant health bar. He's obviously gonna be a little harder to deal with. But the little guys with their guns, deal with them first. It is very annoying having to keep track of all of them and all their guns. So the really best piece of advice I can give is really deal with those gun guys. They are annoying. Now, these two guys, I'm kind of in a situation where I kind of don't want to fight these guys because they are hugging this gun guy very closely. And a lot of these guys are aggressive. The MIA guys, I notice, are more aggressive than the other ones. Than other enemies, I should say. Here, I really shouldn't have stayed in Rush. I should have switched to Beast when I had his back to me. Or not Beast, sorry, Brawler. And I feel like that would have been a much easier time for me, but it's okay. We'll live. We'll be fine. I think I do a heat action, or no, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, okay, so we just use Dragon Rush as combos. Not too bad. Now, this guy has such a weird moveset, man. Like, I hate having to deal with this moveset, but he gives us an opening here. And then you can just back combo him and enjoy yourself. That's really what you want to wait for with this guy. Just some type of opening to get a back combo. Now we have the Gambling House. This is horrible. The dealer isn't bad, but the Iwazaki guy with the glasses, the tall guy with the glasses, he's on the our left of the dealer. Horrible. He is so aggressive. You would think it's the Joji Cosmo moveset. And it might be. I don't know. I don't believe it's the Joji Cosmo moveset, but he is absurdly aggressive. And as a result, I just use both Beast Heat actions, the Saijima one and the Spin one, to destroy their health bars. Because he is just that aggressive. He is that aggressive, you don't want to fight him head on. You can, but it won't be a fun time. Then you're left with two guys. One of them is obviously going to be in a frightened state. And this guy I just do sumo slaps on just to get this fight done with. Because this really is not a fun fight. A lot of the fights in this chapter are not fun. Chapter 7 is just group fight slop. Speaking of which, we have Koji Shindo, who has Okada Izo's moveset for some reason. I don't know how I didn't get hit there. Don't worry about it. But so, what I want to do for this fight is get rid of the minions as quickly as possible, and then try to get a katana. Now, here's what I'm talking about when I say the katanas are really strong. Because once you get into a dragon and you use a katana, you realize how much damage these things really do, and how smooth the moveset feels. Like, we're literally one-shotting these guys like nothing. We're cutting through them like butter. And now we just have Shindo left. We go ahead and do a heat action on him. Like, this is, like, the katana is just amazing. It's such a good weapon, and if you are struggling with this fight, use the katana. We go ahead and let him go for this. We dodge, and I mean, just the katana deletes him like nothing. Also, I don't know if you could tell, but Shindo did look a little different. That is because I have a mod that makes all the Nishikiyama family members, so Arase, Nishiki, and Shindo, have a black suit, and I think it looks really good. I guess on the topic of mods, I guess you can tell that my Kiryu does not look like Kiryu, at least not Kiwami Kiryu. Yep, that is PS2 Cosmic Kiryu. The Blue Jays or whatever, Bluesies, not as, do I really gotta say, they're really not that bad, you don't gotta worry about them. So now we have the White gang. Their leader uses Rikia's moveset, which is a very interesting one to pull, I'm not gonna lie, because it's just not a good moveset. But here we go ahead and do the Saijima heat action. Now we're left with 3 guys. We go ahead and take this guy out immediately. And now he's gonna regenerate, so we're gonna go ahead and take care of him. Just because, like I said, the Rikia moveset is just not a fun moveset to fight. It's super passive when he wants to be. I don't want to say aggressive, but he'll then attack whenever he wants to. It's just not fun to predict and try to see what he's going to do. So I just try to take him out as quickly as possible, leaving me with just 2 normal dudes to fight, and this is pretty chill. Nothing else to say. I want to preserve my heat here, so I'm not going to use a heat action on this guy. I'm just going to go ahead and beat him as quickly as possible. Now, we have the Bloody Eye. The Bloody Eye gang. This fight is very annoying because you have one guy using Breaker Majima style, or a moveset, and I don't know what the fatter guy is using. He's using some sort of like fat guy moveset. Not fun. Not a fun combination at all. But here you want to go ahead and try to get rid of as many of the guys as you can. And here I recommend you don't start with any beast heat action. In fact, I would recommend you end with them. So here I can get rid of both of these tiny guys and then focus on the bosses specifically. Now, I would recommend you take care of this big guy first. He is simply easier to set up something with than the elder Akai brother. So here we go and let him do his spinning attack, and we just start back comboing the younger Akai brother. And we don't let up at all. We just let him have it, really. And there goes the younger Akai brother. Now we're left with the older Akai brother. When I tell you I hate the Majima Breaker moveset because it is just obnoxious to face, it really is. It really is an obnoxious moveset to face, especially because you have to deal with all this. Now we're going to go ahead and do sumo slaps on him. I am not taking any chances with this guy, so I will say I am being a little shameless here by doing literally everything possible to not have to deal with actually fighting him. He's just not a fun fight, in my opinion. Now I just go ahead and do one of the last dragon counter heat actions, and there he goes. Very annoying fight. Don't like him. That's all I have to say. Snake Flower Triad. The Chinese are very good at fighting. I don't know what it is about the Chinese in these games, but they always have such a complex, I don't want to say complex moveset, but a very flowy moveset is the best way to describe it. They flow very well, and as a result, you're not expecting it as much. Like a very flowing and a very fast moveset. And it throws me off all the time when I'm first fighting them. But after a little bit, you do get used to it. And here, I want to get rid of Wu, this guy, the big guy with the health bar, because he is very, very aggressive. As you will notice, what the biggest tip I can give is if someone is super aggressive, you probably want to deal with them first. Like, see, we even have a knife guy here. I didn't take care of the knife guy because the Wu was just that aggressive. It is literally that important to get rid of these aggressive people because they will just ruin your life. We're going to go ahead and do the essence of, what is it, braining? I think it's called. From Yakuza 5 at least, on that guy. And we just got to get rid of the rest of these guys. However you want, just get rid of them. Like I'm saying, like they're so... Like, you see that guy using their freaking front flip kick, man. Bro is showing off. Now for these guys, it's really not that bad. Obviously, you have the guy with the gun you want to deal with. But other than the guys with the guns, there's really not much else to worry about. Especially because these gun guys, you can... Once you take them out, you can always just run from any of the melee characters, or any of the people with melee. So they're really not that much of an issue. But here, we take the gun, and we get rid of all the other guys we need to. Something I should mention, by the way, is that your dodging capabilities are reduced if you have some weapons in the dragon style, such as pistols or daggers. So try not to pick them up, especially because your dodging will be ruined. Now, as you see, this guy is very obnoxious with his dodges. Like I said, the Chinese moveset can be very strange. I don't like the pole moveset, so we're just going to deal with this guy with a heat action. Very nice. And we're left with, I believe, the cleaver guy? Yeah, we're left with this cleaver guy. Not bad. He attacks very early, so you can get rid of him very early as well. And once again, another cleaver guy. They attack from so far. Take advantage of that. Leave them to be one of the last enemies you fight, because it is very, very easy to dodge their attacks. I did not know this guy was up here. I am so happy that knife didn't hit me. Now we just have to go and head to the kitchen. Now this kitchen section is pretty simple if you know what you're doing. Basically here, I'm trying to deal with as many people as I can before the red and blue guys spawn. These guys are very aggressive. I sound like a broken record saying that, but that is really just Yakuza Kiwami in a nutshell. Just very aggressive mini bosses like this. Here I go ahead and do the Saejima heat action. It's just a very efficient heat action. You know, I got a complaint that my Yakuza 0 no damage was super repetitive, which is such like a stupid complaint to me, because it's like, if something's effective and something works, why would I not use it? It would be different if I was like spamming Tiger Drop or something, but I'm not. I'm just using like the same heat action that works, and it's good to use in that situation. And it definitely is a little more difficult to take care of than what's it called? Than Tiger Dropping, for example. Sorry for that little tangent. Here you want to get rid of the cleaver guy as soon as possible, because this cleaver guy can be a little aggressive. As ironic as it sounds, given I talked about how passive the cleaver guys were in the previous part of the long battle. But here these fat guys are very... They're chill. They're chill. I'll put it that way. I should have done a bounding throw. That's on me. A bounding throw would have been much easier to use there, and it would have provided much more utility, but it's fine. As you notice, I don't do that many double finishers, and that is because double finishers obviously take heat in this game, which sucks. Obviously, it's not good, but also it's not that big of a deal because dodge strikes are a thing in this game, and they don't take up as much heat. And as a result, even though you can't really do double finishers in this game efficiently, I shouldn't say efficiently, but it's not a good idea, I still don't mind it. Lau Ka Long. Now the thing about Lau is I really hate his glaive set, or glaive phase. Granted, it's not the worst thing in the world. I do one Tiger Drop for this fight, and that is the Tiger Drop. I promise I do not use another Tiger Drop. Because, I don't know, there's some, like the glaive phase, it's just not my favorite. Because one, you can't back combo him, he will fall, which is really annoying. He has super great reach in it. It's just not a fun phase in my opinion. Although, like, there are ways to deal with it. Ways I don't feel like trying. For a boss I don't find that fun. Now you can go ahead and back combo him into Oblivion, as I do here. And I mean, you know, I've heard people say they don't like Dragon in Yakuza Kiwami, or that it's bad. Those people are just incorrect, because yeah, you can do stuff like that. Now we have this long battle on the rooftop. This one is also one take. This took me a very long time to do. Now the reason I did this one in one take, I didn't have to, but you get, like, let's say I take damage, right? Let's say I'm on the second floor and I take damage. You get reset into the second floor. Okay, that means you must have fought a lot of enemies to get there. No. If I didn't do this in one take, I would have done this so easily, and I didn't want that. I wanted this to be a little challenging, so I didn't do this one in one take because it would have been way too easy to do in one take. I use Dragon here. That's really all I could say. I do a square triangle combo for that first guy to get him onto the ground more efficiently, and sometimes it would hit the second guy. I do just use Dragon here, I'm not gonna lie. Dragon is just so good in this game, it's like a no-brainer why you shouldn't use it. This guy blocks more than you would think, but it's not that big of a deal. Just kinda gotta deal with him as is. He's really not that bad other than blocking a bunch. We don't have to take care of that pistol guy, he's optional. I actually don't think you have to take care of any of these guys. Maybe this guy, actually. You might have to take care of this guy. This guy, I would recommend you just grab him and do a heat action. Just go ahead and block, let him go for some hits, go for a grab, and do a heat action. Because this guy has a very odd way of fighting. Sometimes he's super passive, sometimes he's super aggressive. Not that this is like a new moveset or anything, obviously, but it's just not a fun moveset to fight. A lot of movesets for these random guys are just not super fun to fight. I switched to Brawler here for a very specific reason, because you have a guy with the gun here, but every single time I took him out in Dragon, the gun would face the wall. And the gun is very useful, because you can take care of this guy here, you can take care of the gun guy that is around the corner, and you could stagger that guy onto the ground. Now here we go ahead and take care of the guy we didn't shoot. Now we go ahead and take care of this guy, who bled out, I lied. And you could use your pistol on this guy with the sofa and not waste any heat. For this next floor, you want to not be in front of that hallway that is kind of peeking because there's a guy with a gun there. And if you get distracted, get shot with the gun, oh well, your run is over. So just deal with these guys as is. A lot of these like throwaway enemies, like I said, they're really not that big of a threat. Sometimes they'll have weird behavior and they will hit you in times where you're like, what the heck, man, why would you hit me? But sometimes that just happens. You want to take care of this gun guy now. The reason you want it is because his gun can be used to take out these guys. It just saves you from the headache of actually fighting them, so why not? You leave this guy feared, and he becomes a very easy kill. Or knockout. Cosmic Kiryu has never killed a man, whatever. Here I switched to Dragon, very specific reason why. Because in this room, you will get 2 gun guys and 1 guy with fists. What I like to do here is I like to do the square triangle combo to get both gun guys onto the ground like this. So now I can specifically focus on the guy with fists. I didn't mean to do the drop kick, that's on me. But now we can take care of both gun guys very easily. And obviously use your guns to the advantage. Go ahead, pick it up, and use this one. Take care of these guys. Very simple. And you have 1 more gun, so use that one. Kiryu is very American in this game, let me tell you. Now here, there will be enemies to your right. You don't have to fight those. There's a gun guy, dodge him. Yeah, you can just go to the stairs. Just like that. Here, I do sumo slaps on this guy Sugawara, if that's how you pronounce it, because he is a very, very aggressive enemy. He's another one of those enemies that it looks like a normal guy, but he is very aggressive. Honestly, all 3 of these guys can be unexpectedly aggressive, so as you can see, I'm playing much more passive as a result to try and bait out an attack, which thankfully they both do attack now. And as a result, we just go ahead and take them out. Like I said, they're not super aggressive, but they can be unexpectedly aggressive, which can screw you. We go ahead and just take out this gun guy as is. No real other way to put it. There's a guy with a shotgun in this next room, so we just pick up the gun and take him out. I like to prep for this because I don't want to just get shot and lose everything. Now we switch to rush, and all I will tell you is run and dodge, because this guy in this next room is very aggressive, very annoying to fight, so just dodge and go up the stairs. And there you go, you don't have to worry about fighting that guy. I do like that Kiwami did that, where there are some instances where you don't actually have to fight an enemy, and you're kind of just made to go to the next area. It's kind of neat, I like it. Now for this next spot, we have 2 gun guys we have to worry about, but not really, because dodging them is really easy when they're the only guy you have to worry about. But now with this gun, we can take out the next gun guy, and I don't think there's another one. Yeah, there's not another gun guy. You just have a bunch of NPCs you have to take out here, which is, as you can imagine, very easy with the gun. But now I go ahead and switch to not using the gun. I could go back and use the other gun, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Now we go ahead and go to this next area with more gun guys. I'm sure you guys aren't bored of gun guys yet, so let me tell you, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this next section if you love the gun guys. Go ahead and take these 2 guys out. Very nice. And now we are left with a gun boss. Wow. Yeah, as you can imagine, this, I don't know, the second half of this game kind of drags on because there's just so many gun guys, it kind of gets very boring to me. But we take care of this guy, and now we have to go to this end part. Aura. And we take out this guy now. In just a very nice looking cutscene, I'm gonna be honest. Now, we have to deal with Arase, who is actually not that bad. Gosh, the black suit looks so good on him. I am such a fan of it. So here, I would recommend you take care of this gun guy first for 2 reasons. 1, you get his gun. 2, you get heat. I went from no heat to all the heat in a matter of seconds. Now I just have to deal with these 2 guys. Now, I believe that is Arase's moveset from the OG games, or it might be Richardson's, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Richardson's moveset, and I can't say if it's the OG moveset just because. I don't know. I haven't played the originals. But yeah, you want to take care of these guys. The thing about Arase that's really annoying is you could technically back combo him if you want to, but he's so annoying because he has the same problem Slugger Majima has, where he'll just hyper armor through everything. He also loves to dodge and run and pretty much let you not hit him. So imagine just facing, I don't know, Kiryu and Rush for a second. That's kind of how Arase feels like, and as a result, I don't really like this fight. My brother loves this fight. He loves the Arase fight. I hate it though. It's not fun to me. Rare double finisher there for you. Don't do it too much, but that is the one time I do it. Otherwise, Arase is really not that bad. Just be careful that you don't get shot, and sometimes he will track you with his shot. He won't shoot you immediately, which is something you want to be careful of. Otherwise, yeah, Arase is really not that bad. You go for a grab here, which you should never do. It is a stupid idea, because there are instances where bosses will damage you if you go for a grab. I got lucky. I don't know actually if Arase is different in that regard, we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. Snakeflower Triad, group fight, slop, use Saijima heat action, profit. It kind of sucks how many of these there are. I'm not gonna lie, they're just not very fun. Because it's usually just like a default NPC like moveset onto a guy with a bigger health bar, and it's boring. There's really not much else I can say other than just deal with them as you would. Like, there's no real tip I can give, you know? And there goes that Snakeflower Triad boss fight. Now, this isn't technically a story boss fight, but it is a very clean Majima fight I got, and I was really happy with it, and as a result, we're gonna watch it. So, obviously, back comboing is the name of the game in Kiwami, and as a result, I am waiting to rush parry Majima into a corner, which I do here. And when I can, I go ahead and put him into stunned, and get him into Dragon, and we just start Dragon back comboing him into Oblivion. And I could have continued this, but I made a mistake and I went for this finisher instead, and I actually almost lost the no damage there as a result. But yeah, really, if you wanted back combo and you just want to do infinite back combos on him, you just do square, 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 triangle into a dodge hit, and that's all you need to do. It's really absurd how good back combos are in this game, I am not gonna lie. Now we have him healing up. I just do the heat action here. And it is absurd how much heat, or how much damage that heat action does really, I am going to be honest. Like, it feels like way stronger than it should be. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. But now we have him back into our good graces to where we can just back combo him into Oblivion again. Really, I mean, back comboing is so strong in this game. It's so good, and it's really all because of Dragon. Speaking of Majima, now we have this fight. This fight is horrible, but not for the reason you might expect. So remember how I said the Kuze 4 fight is bad because, not bad, but difficult because of Nishiki? This fight sucks because of Majima. Not that it's hard, no, this fight just sucks because of Majima. Let me explain. The main guy has a gun. Shocker, I know. By the way, the rest of these guys you kind of deal with how you would with any group fight. Just take them out one by one, use heat actions, etc, etc. But the thing about Majima and this guy with the gun is whenever the guy is knocked down with the gun, whenever he comes back up, he can shoot you. That's just his recovery, he shoots you. And sometimes Majima is on the other side of the battle arena with this guy, and because Majima has a knife, he can just take him down whenever he wants to. As a result, sometimes I'm in a situation where I truly don't know what he's doing, and he's on the ground and I get shot from across the map. By the way, this guy has Kanai's moveset. I thought I'd just go ahead and mention that, I know, crazy. But now Majima, thankfully in this run, was dealing with the add-ons, I don't know what to call these guys, bro. Just like the normal enemies, I guess. Oh, that's the other thing, you can't back combo this guy, which kind of sucks. Which is, I mean, I'm kind of okay with it, because this game would be way too easy if you could just back combo every enemy you see. Here, we can just use Majima as bait, and because, you know, we can actually deal with Majima with this guy, it becomes a much easier fight than having Majima deal with him specifically. That he can do that with when he's fighting Majima, and he will aim for you instead of Majima, and it is the worst experience ever. Now, here's a weird thing. He has the Yakuza 0 boss thing where he goes into heat mode instead of regenerating, which is kind of odd, but it's not that big of a deal. It does make me wonder why they went with this in this game, but I don't think it would change how this fight is done anywhere. But it is also just interesting from a design perspective why they chose this. I do sumo slaps now just because I'm getting really bored of fighting this guy. He's not fun to fight. Just very boring. That's really it in terms of my reasoning. I don't know, man. This fight is just, other than from a story perspective, it's weird. Or not very well thought out. It's not a very good fight. I mean, he has the Kanai moveset, like I said. I think I said that. Whatever. Not fun. So, I just got really bored. And was like, okay, I guess we'll just heat action him now. Because it is just... It's an insufferable fight, I'm just gonna be honest. Not hard at all, really, but whatever. And now we see Majima get shot. When did this guy get a gun, by the way? Oh no, Majima, this is so sad. And also beautiful. Yeah, that fight's not too bad, it's just really boring. Now we're at the Shangri-La long battle. But fun fact about the Shangri-La long battle, you don't have to do it. You just run past everybody. Wowie. Yeah, you don't have to fight these guys. You just run. And if you say, wow, so skillful, shut up. You would do the same thing too. Suck my nuts. Okay. Although I will say I do hit this guy here just because I want to have heat. But yeah, you don't have to fight any of these guys. You could just run past them. So if you're struggling in this section, you don't gotta fight them. Just don't fight them. Run past them. It's that simple. And you only need to do this for 2 floors. So if you really want to fight him, you can. But now you fight Majima. Now, the thing that's interesting about this version of Majima is that he starts off in Mad Dog form, and then he goes into Brawler form. Now, I'm not going to say much about this fight because we have fought Majima's Mad Dog form a lot of times now. So, I mean, I will just let it kind of do the talking. That being said, I'm also not using the Climax Heat action right now because I don't feel it's necessary. Now, we get into this QTE that will make him switch to his Thug stance. And that's honestly pretty neat. It's a cool thing they did in this fight. And they did in the last fight in the baseball, the batting cages too. But now that he's in Thug, he plays differently than he does in Mad Dog, which is really weird. You can't back combo him as effectively. In fact, I would recommend you don't back combo him because it is kind of scary to back combo him. What I would recommend doing is bounding throw. Bounding throws are much more consistent against this version of Majima. And Komaki parrying, because I don't know, rush parry just didn't work as well for me. So this is what I would recommend you do instead. I would recommend for Thug Majima, you just Komaki parry and bounding throw. Those two are much more consistent than trying to back combo him. That is my advice. This fight took me single-handedly the longest amount of time. Because I didn't want to do it with any of the Beast heat actions. I think I used one actually. I didn't want to start out with the Beast heat action, to say the least. This fight is insufferable because you have this grenade guy who can throw grenades at you. But let's say you dodge the grenade. Let's say you go for a punch. You better hope he doesn't have a grenade in his hand, because if he does, guess what? You're screwed. You have this shotgun guy who can shoot you from 10 million years away. So what I should do is take care of the grenade guy, bundle up all the ads, these like, you know, useless NPC guys, and use the shotgun. Because the shotgun is multi-hits, and you can take out so many guys at once. To the point where there's literally, well, honestly, one guy left. This guy's gonna bleed out. Now, obviously, you want to take care of Nakajima, the guy without the buzzsaw first, because he is simply much simpler and has much less health, even though it says he has the same amount as Takeda. We go ahead and do this Brawler heat action. Not one I do a lot in this I think it's the only time I ever did it, actually. I just never found a need to do it at any other points. Now, with Takeda here, I try to back combo him, but obviously you can't back combo him. He does fall. But now that he's by himself, his moveset is super easy to deal with. But him in a group of people, and a guy with a gun, and a guy that lobs grenades at you, he is very difficult, as you would imagine. I didn't want to go for the dropkick there. You could probably imagine, yeah, I didn't want to. I end this fight with sumo slaps because this fight genuinely pissed me off. It's not a fun fight. It's not a good fight. Very bad fight. Now we get to one of the coolest fights in this game, which is this fight with Shimano. Here I go into Brawler because I don't have any heat. And something I noticed that I didn't realize is that if you do the full Brawler rush combo, the finisher does a little stun attack, which is kind of cool. And it's very useful because as they're stumbling back, you can do a square triangle and get much more damage out of it. Yeah, we do the Saejima heat action there. But yeah, so as you can see, look, he stumbles back, and now you can just do that combo on him. And it's pretty cool, it's pretty nice. It's not something I realized. Because in Yakuza 0, if you do the square triangle combo on Brawler, that stuns them. But in this game, it's the full rush combo, which I think is pretty cool because it makes that rush combo much more useful than it otherwise would be. Go ahead and do another B-seed action. We want to get rid of all these guys as quickly as possible because you don't want a bunch of Shimano thugs hugging Shimano, especially Katana Shimano, because Katana Shimano is a nightmare, to say the least. I don't like his moveset. It's the moveset that Saejima has as in Katana form in Yakuza 5. Maybe Yakuza 4 too, I don't know. I don't really use weapons that much in these games. But it's just, moral of the story, it's not a fun, it's not a fun sort of moveset to go against. Also, I pulled out the Demon Fire Dagger there, mostly just cuz on accidents, really. It didn't really do anything to affect the fight, so that doesn't break the rules per se. I didn't attack with it, I didn't do anything with it, it just so happened to come out because I forgot. But yeah, I mean, like, look how far his range is with that katana, man. So here I just used sumo slaps on this last guy to get rid of him because he was just not leaving Shimano's side. And now we switch to Rush, which is the most efficient for this type of situation. Like, it's just, he's so scary in this mode, man. I hate it. Another thing about Shimano I really don't like, he's not back comboable, he's not stunnable, he has no sort of flinch. It's boring. He's a boring fight to me. Granted, you could say the same thing about Mr. Shakedown, but I never said Mr. Shakedown was a good fight now, have I? They're both kind of boring fights. Because, I mean, it's just boring. So I just kind of use heat actions to speed it up. Because otherwise, I would be staying here for like 10 minutes taking pop shots with Rush. And that is something I'd rather not do. It's just his his katana moveset. Because as soon as you get to the shakedown moveset is pretty easy to dodge, pretty easy to counter, and also very easy to gain heat from because of rush dodging. Very risky play. Don't ask why I did that and how it worked, but it did. Here we go ahead and do the Brawler grab finisher. Oh my gosh, mouthful, sorry about that. And now he should be going into fist mode. Yes, there it is. Now he's in his shakedown moveset. Much more chill, although also still very boring because, once again, like I said, no flinch on him. Which is really something that kind of sucks. It really does suck. There is no sort of flinch. And it really shows how it can lower the quality of a boss, which does suck because Shimano is a really cool character, and he's a very cool villain. So it's a very unfortunate thing that his moveset can be ruined by the absence of flinch. Now you could make the argument, what do you mean the absence? Like, how does that ruin a moveset? And I mean, some of the best fights in this series, something like Mine, Nishikiyama, spoiler by the way, Shishido, like, they all have points where yes, they can hyper armor, yes, they can do this and that, but they also have moments where they're in flinch and you can fight them. And it's so much more enjoyable in that situation to have flinch and also points of hyper armor than being forced to literally just have oh my gosh, words, have hyper armor forced on. So here I do a few dragon hits just because I don't want to do a charged heat action. Like I said, they're stupid busted, and there's only one exception to who I will do it to, which we will get to soon. But that's Shimano. Now we have this mob before we go to Millennium Tower. This was actually kind of tricky, mostly because of these fist guys. The guys with the pipes and the bat are not too big of a deal. Really not that bad. You really just have to deal with these fist guys, and now these bat guys they're free. They're just free. Especially because these guys are super slow with the bats, that you don't really have to worry about them. They're not a threat. So you just deal with them how you want to. Brawler, dragon, rush, whatever. Doesn't really matter. This next part can be really tricky because this a guy with like a, what is that, like a tiger design, leopard design on shirt or whatever. This guy is scary. He's very aggressive, especially compared to the rest of the guys in this wave. So definitely I would heat action him and just get him out of the game as quickly as possible, because the rest of these guys are pretty passive. Excuse me, sorry about that. Yeah, like the rest of these guys are pretty passive in comparison to the leopard guy. And you can just deal with them pretty simply. Excuse me. Now for this next group of enemies, these guys aren't bad because, would you be surprised, the main guy, the guy with the big health bar, is not that bad. It's just this guy, very slow. He does the Daigo kick. Really not that bad. There, obviously we had to dodge because that guy was going to hit us if we didn't. I don't know if I do a bounding throw. Okay, there it is. I was gonna say, I believe I do a bounding throw, but I don't know for certain. But yeah, the rest of these guys, very easy. Really, the only person that is any sort of like a threat is that guy in the middle, like the leopard print guy. He is a threat. And then in the beginning part, those guys who don't have bats can be really annoying, but I wouldn't say they're a threat. Really just leopard guy is a threat. But this guy really isn't bad. It really does suck how many of these group fights there are in Kiwami because they're not super fun, as much as I hate to say it. Which sucks because a lot of the boss fights they do have are fun. They can be fun, but they just get ruined by boss fights. Okay, so for this fight, okay, I will say, you want to get rid of the guys in the suits as quickly as possible. Those guys are super aggressive. Just take care of them as soon as you can. So do beast heat actions, do anything you need to do to get rid of them because they can be super aggressive, especially in comparison to the lesser tier enemies. I don't even really understand why these guys are here. Are they Yakuza? Are they MIA? Why are they fighting with the random street thugs? I don't know. But this gun comes in useful because you can one-shot them. Very nice stuff. Now we're left with a normal guy and Kondo, this big guy here. You know, I almost said Konda there because, yeah, there's the thing coming in, by the way, the full Brawler Rush combo into the Square Square Triangle combo. It's so useful. Once I learned that, it's crazy useful. This worst fight in the game here. You know what would be fun? What if we put you in a room with only projectile enemies, but some of them don't have any, like, tells of when they're gonna projectile hit you unless you're looking at them? What if that was the entire long battle? Wouldn't that be so fun? That would not be some sort of artificial difficulty. No, that would be super fun, wouldn't it be? Just, my biggest piece of advice here is to use the guns to your advantage. There's a lot of them. They will one-shot most enemies. This fight sucks. It is horrible. Not even necessarily because of the gun guys. The thing that makes this fight horrible are the knife guys, because the knife guys are throwing knife guys. Horrible fight. Horrible fight. It's so boring. It's literally just what you're watching. If you want to do it efficiently, it's literally just this. It sucks. Now, my tip for this guy is to heat action him, and if you don't want to heat action him, use the guns to your advantage, because what you can do is shoot him twice with a gun. He'll start bleeding out on the floor. You can step on him a few times. I think maybe thrice, actually, if you get the timing down correctly. And that is one way to take him out, or you could just do heat actions on him, which is much more simple. Or you could just do Dharma Tumbler around him and just take him out with just rush combos that way, but really this guy is very annoying. So really, cheese him, I'm gonna be honest. He's not a fun fight. Next we have 4 guys down here, but 3 of them are in front of you. One of them is a knife guy to your right. Take out these guys in front of you first because they're more of a threat. I somehow missed my gunshots on this guy. I don't know how that's possible, but it happens. Yakuza is a game where anything can happen, really, especially in the later games. Remove Kagawa, by the way. Remove him. Anyway, we pick up this guy's gun. Now, honestly, you don't need the gun here. It's not that useful, especially because you have 6 guys and then a boss. The bosses don't get that significant gun damage on them, and this guy runs at you. He's a very aggressive guy. He's not aggressive in the sense that he will actually attack you actively, but more so he will go for just run up to you. By the way, use this elevator for cover whenever you're down here. It is just a very useful way to take care of these guys and kind of zone them in a way that you are in control. Now for this guy, I'm going to be honest, just use Sumo Slap or any heat action you are safe using, and it makes this fight a lot simpler. Horrible long battle, the worst in this game, and I don't know what else to say. It's a bad long battle. Now we have these Omi Alliance guys. Very simple how you're going to have to do this fight. Take care of the big guy first. I know it's very counterintuitive, especially compared to what I've been doing, where I've taken out all the add-ons first and then the big guy. But this big guy is so aggressive, I would actually recommend you take him out first. Auto-aim being weird in Yakuza games. But yeah, and like the rest of these guys are super docile, so you don't even have to worry about them hurting you. Like, it's absurd how safe it is against these guys. Really, like, you just need to take out the big guy and you're chilling. Now, this next part is also not a very good long battle, but we're gonna do it. Kyohei Jingu. Yes, sir. So what I do here is take out the gun guy first, or I try to. I try to do the square, square, square triangle, so I don't have to waste a heat action on him, but most of the times you do. It doesn't really matter because the gun gives you so much heat anyway that even if you do use a heat action, you will get that heat back. You'll get that heat back, excuse me, very, very quickly. Now you take care of those guys. Jingu does this very long cutscene of where he goes toodaloo, goodbye, and he just pieces out. After this, we have 2 heat aura guys, which can be very scary, but there is a very simple way to deal with them. I do the Saejima heat action here. I don't get the 2 heat aura guys, unfortunately, because you can one-shot them with it, but I didn't get them, so it is what it is. But that doesn't mean they're hard to fight, because everyone here has guns. And thankfully, this is one of those times where these guys are actually weak to guns. So just gun them down. Very simple. And this is, I think this part is actually less frustrating than the previous MIA section, because at least here, it's one type of enemy. Alright, it's not one type of enemy, I lied, but it's much better enemy placement, in my opinion. Now I'm just going to go ahead and snipe as many of these guys as I can. Thankfully, you can snipe these guys from pretty safe distance. They won't try to attack you. And that is this part of the long battle done with. Now you have Jingu. Remember I said in the rules that I had exceptions with the rules? Those exceptions were Jingu. Just Jingu. Jingu is the worst boss I've ever seen in my life. Horrible boss. I could not be bothered to actually do some sort of cool way of dealing with him. So we're doing charged heat actions, we're doing weapon heat actions, we're doing everything in this world to get rid of Jingu, because that is how bad this fight is. And I don't think anyone would blame me because this fight is just that horrific. So you can call it shameless, but I promise you nobody cares because it's Jingu. Here we go ahead and dodge so we can get more heat. By the way, I have the Gomon on. Like I said, we do not care about Jingu, so I will break all the rules that I need to. He is the exception. Something I will say for this fight, especially with this strat, do not do your weapon heat action as your first heat action or your second heat action, because if you do, you cannot get your heat back if you do a dodge, a rush dodge. Or you fully get your heat back if you, like, going from 0 to 100% heat. You can't do that if you do a weapon heat action. So do firearm flip and do sumo slap, and then you're going to be left with this much heat, which then you could use on Jingu, like I do here. I kind of wait for him to go into his regenerating state, which he doesn't regenerate, by the way. But that is Jingu done with. And Jingu is the one you kind of want to deal with here because of his gun. Because these guys, yes, they have their knives, but guess what? You have Tiger Drop. Yeah, we're going to Tiger Drop these guys. Did I mention I hate Jingu? But yeah, these guys are pretty easy to Tiger Drop as well. Very simple Tiger Drop. Now this guy I deal with using a heat action. I get scared here, so I don't actually do the heat action, I dodge instead. But now I'm like, okay, I gotta go balls out, I gotta do the heat action. So I kind of wait and go for the heat action here. And it one-shots him. So yeah, that's Jingu made easy. I'm gonna be honest, nobody would care if you do the fight legit or not. It's not a well-designed fight. Now, time for my favorite final boss in any Yakuza game, Nishikiyama. Rush parry, then you can give him back shots. You can back combo him. I didn't want to use Dragon because it would make this fight too easy, so I wanted to do back combos without Dragon. And I kind of resorted to using Brawler mostly because Rush is kind of underwhelming in my opinion. Brawler you kind of force in a situation where you have to actually do combos and not keep him in an infinite stun lock. Beast, it's just physically impossible to combo him because you're so slow in Beast. Here we go ahead and do a bear hug. Something I want to mention, by the way, is in these games you can't repeat heat actions because if you repeat heat actions, the damage gets lower and lower the more you do them. The same doesn't apply to bear hug. So as you see, bear hug does half a health bar for Nishiki. So instead of having to do a heat action, you could just do the bear hug. And you are in a very good position to do the bear hug. We go for a throw here, then we do a heat action on him. People say Yakuza 0 heat actions don't do that much damage. What the hell was that? Literally nothing. I did it more so for style points, if anything. But yeah, a lot of this fight is very simple. It's just crazy how good the rush parry is, to be honest. Rush parry is just a very strong tool, as you can imagine. Go ahead and do a brawler rush combo. Get our heats back. Go back into brawl. I don't know why I actually went back into brawler. There was no reason for that. A lot of this fight is just, you know, timing your rush parries. Really, it is a pretty simple fight, but it's just, I love it so much, man. Nishiki's such a cool character. Here I just decide to do some dragon back shots. Not too many. Then we go ahead and do a heat action to get him into the next phase of the fight, where we will be forced back into the main lobby of Ares. I think that's how you pronounce this place. Very cool cinematic here. By the way, I forgot to mention, you notice how Nishiki has black pants? Black suit Nishiki, baby. It looks good. So he goes into healing, and I don't want to do any sort of heat action because I don't want to make this fight take like 2 seconds because that would be kind of boring. Go ahead and rush parry him once again. It's, like I said, it's absurd how good the rush parry is in this game, and I'm kind of glad they made the parries much more difficult. We go ahead and do a bear hug here for some sort of variety. I really like the bear hug. It's a very cool thing. I'm kind of sad I didn't really utilize it as much as I wanted to, but it is what it is. Now for this final time, he is healing. This time actually I do just go ahead and do a heat action. Now, I know what you're going to say. Zan, what the heck? You did a charged heat action. At this point, it doesn't matter if I do a charged heat action. That is because once you get him to orange health, you will have this QTE sequence here, and you will take him out. So even if I didn't have a charged heat action, I would have won the fight regardless. As long as I hit this QTE, obviously. But, of course, I do. Then you punch Nishiki a bunch. He says, "You call that a punch?" And then Kiryu, with all of his strength, abandons all of his technique and punches him so brutally. It's just, yeah. So now we're here, done with the entire no damage. This took around 20 hours as well, very similar to Yakuza 0. To reflect, I will say this was a lot of fun once again. It is just really fun, no damaging the Yakuza games to say the least. Mostly because, once again, they are very easy games, so it is fun to challenge yourself to, you know, do something that would make them more challenging. Wow, using challenging twice in the same sentence, holy sheesh. Yeah, it's fun though. It's really fun to challenge yourself and do something like this, especially with a game pretty easy, that being the Yakuza games. Do I think this was easier than Yakuza 0? Yeah, I do think this game was actually an easier no damage than Yakuza 0. While this game did have its annoying moments, I don't necessarily think it was harder. Like, you can have something be annoying, but it won't be hard. You know what I mean? Now, moving on to what I learned. Back combos are absolutely goated in this game. They are so good, they can make you unstoppable. It is kind of absurd how good back combos can be in this game. Other than that, I also learned that this game is very different from Zero. Enemy AI is very different from Zero, and that's the main thing. The enemy AI is so different from Zero. You would think because they share the same engine, it's basically copy-paste of Zero, that, you know, the enemy AI would be very similar, but no, this game's enemy AI is so much more aggressive, actually, which is surprising. Other than that, I really don't have much to say, especially compared to the Yakuza 0 video. So I want to leave you all by saying thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me through this journey, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Please leave likes, comments, and subscribe if you want to. I'm not going to force you, and have a good day.
Sakasete mise